All right. Good evening, Lunenburg, and welcome to this, our planning board meeting for Monday, June 22nd, 2026. We are here at the upstairs Bellotta Meeting Room at our beautiful town hall. This meeting is being recorded, as always. If you wish to join us tonight, well, you've already joined us somehow, at least on television, and thank you for that. And if you want to participate tonight, as always, you have a few options. You can drive down to Town Hall and join us. You're always welcome. We have friends here tonight that way. You can also participate via Zoom. And you can do that by going to the town website, getting our handy-dandy agenda off the town website. On your computer, you can use the link to open the Zoom app and join us that way. Or there's a phone number given that you can join in with your telephone as well. So feel free to join us as you wish, and I believe that's all we need. I do want to let everyone know that Mr. Wilsmer, Tim Wilsmer, is joining us tonight remotely as our 5th planning board member. That means all votes will be taken by roll call. And what I will just do is I will go down, I'll go down the line for the 3 of y'all. And I'm going to go up the line. I normally go down, but I feel bad putting Mr. Nicastro as the first roll call vote on everything. And then I will go to Tim. All right? So, Tim, you know when to unmute and be ready. Okay.
Sounds good.
And with that, do we have any board comment to open up the night? Seeing none? Okay. Director's report.
Thank you. So, board members, as you know, we agreed to work on 4 major bylaw changes for next May's annual town meeting. Senior housing, revising our inclusionary housing provision, revising our cluster provision, and then revising the zoning bylaw site plan provision to add minor site plan review. By now, you all have been sent drafts of those bylaws to look over. I'd like to schedule our first editing session for a date in July. I think it's going to take at least 2 editing sessions amongst us where we're sitting down at the table around, all together in person, grinding out the sausage, so to speak. So if you could get out your calendars for July. I'd like the meeting to go no longer than an hour and a half. After that amount of time working on tedious bylaws, it gets a little... So...
that is a technical planning term.
It is. How many people could make a 5 o'clock meeting? Show of hands.
I can do 5 o'clock.
Okay. Why don't we try to do a 5 o'clock? I want to give you at least past the 4th of July to look over the bylaws in good shape. Monday the 20th, Tuesday the 22nd, Wednesday the 22nd, if we schedule a 5 o'clock meeting. Let's go through each of those days. How many people could make 5 o'clock on Monday the 20th?
I can do all 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same.
Same.
Adam, do you have a preference as to date?
I'm sorry, you said the 20th or what?
20th, 21st, or 22nd? That's a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Can't do the 21st. I have a meeting I have to do at work. I could probably do Monday or Wednesday.
Why don't we do Monday, 5 o'clock, the 20th?
I am about 90% sure that works. I have to drop my kid off at camp that day, but
You want to do the 22nd? if
I
that
would
work
much,
better?
I would much rather do the 20th. I just need to confirm that. But I am almost, no, I pack him a lunch. I'm going to be dropping him off earlier because I have to pack him a lunch. We'll be fine.
Okay,
Great.
okay. So this will be posted as a public meeting, and it will be filmed. People can attend if they want to watch one of the most boring sessions of zoning editing that's ever been held, but that's how we do this. I'm hopeful that after a couple editing sessions on these bylaws, we're going to come up with something that we're all comfortable presenting to the voters, so that by the end of the summer, we can start shopping these bylaws around to the other boards, commissions, committees, and departments, have a public forum or two, and by that time, we're into early next year, getting ready to ship these bylaws off to town meeting. So thank you for your willingness to participate, and that's all I have for you.
Great. All right, thank you. We are going to move on to our public hearings. I just want to, we'll do the motions to make it official later, but I want to let people know that 934 Mass Ave, if you're here for that, they did request a continuance for tonight. So if you're with us online or in the room for 934 Mass Ave, once we go through the other public hearings, we're going to just continue that probably to whenever they want, probably our next meeting. But otherwise, let's go down the list. Yep. We'll start with 30 Summer Street. This has been continued from our, really? Oh yeah, I guess so, from our November 24th, 2025 meeting. This would be stormwater permit PBSW 25-6, site plan review PBSA 25-8, and special permit PBSP 25-9. That's for the floodplain district. And again, you can use the OpenGov platform to take these specific reference numbers and get all the publicly available documentation on through the OpenGov platform.
Good evening. Ryan Proctor, Dillison Roy. I'm here tonight representing the applicant. As you noted, it's been quite some time that we've been before you. Part of that was upon our request, and the past couple of meetings we've had quorum issues relative to the special permit. But just as a refresher to the board, the project itself involves the construction of a self-storage facility at 30 Summer Street, which is currently the location of an existing auto sales dealership. The latest correspondence that we had received for this project back in February 25th, it was received by the planning department from Graves Engineering, was a peer review letter that indicated that they were satisfied with our proposed design. There is also a handful of items and questions that were raised by the planning board at the last meeting that I'll just go through quickly. We did submit a cover letter relative to this to the OpenGov portal. This was back in January.
If you could go through them slightly slower than quickly to help
Gladly.
get our brains catching up, that would be appreciated.
Absolutely.
Great.
Happy to.
Just a couple extra details sprinkled in here or there may be helpful.
Understood. Great. So the first question was relative to TSS and phosphorus removal, total suspended solids, so capturing the sediment coming off the site. So your stormwater requirements require that we capture the equivalent of 80% of the TSS, the total suspended solids, and 50% of the total phosphorus load. We are achieving this through the use of storage. I'm going to use my laser pointer, which is extremely bright. We have multiple stormwater storage areas around the perimeter of the building on each side to intercept and capture runoff associated with the roof area and the pavement area. And we are providing a storage equivalent to the required storage volume, actually well in excess. The required volume is about 2,400 cubic feet. We're providing a little over 10,000 square feet of stormwater storage on the site. The board had asked a question relative to why we did not have erosion control barrier at the rear of the site, and the topography of the site slopes entirely from back to front. So we had erosion control along both perimeters as well as along the top of the site adjacent to Summer Street.
In the top, when we say top of the site, we mean on,
Along Summer Street,
Yep.
north portion of the
got
property.
it, okay.
Yep. There was a question about truck rentals for the facility. We are not proposing any rental of vehicles for this. The board had asked for some turning movement diagrams for the access ramp and for the trash truck. They are not on our site plans, but we did submit standalone exhibit plans to OpenGov for both the trash truck and for the access ramp and the trash at the receptacle. There was a question about whether there would be an apartment for a site manager. We are not proposing any residential units or any apartments within the facility. There was a question about how many individual storage units there will be. There will be approximately 820 storage units within the building. Again, it is a 4-story, it's about 27,000 square feet building. There was a question about hours of operation. There will be keypad access for the building itself. We're proposing hours of operation for the keypad access from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. There will be one employee on staff for office hours, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., for the office. There was a question whether we were proposing an MDC trap for interior parking access. I think there was some confusion, potentially on our end during our presentation, about whether there would be vehicles allowed to enter the building through this front entry. Let me pull this up here. Through this front entryway here, there is not vehicular access into the building. The intent of that is if you have a larger vehicle with some larger items or many small items, you can back up a truck to that bay, unload your belongings, and then leave from there. But there is not vehicular access into the building. There was a question about the maximum number of employees on site. There will only be one employee per shift during the office hours I mentioned earlier. There was a recommendation from the board that the applicant review the security system with the police department, and we have no objection to that. We're happy to accept it as a condition, and once we develop that, we'd be happy to review that with the fire department. There was a question that once the ZBA decision had been issued, that it be uploaded, and we have uploaded that to OpenGov. We were before them a long time ago, earlier this year, I believe, and that was it. So again, Graves had issued their letter. They were satisfied with the design relative to stormwater. And then the last thing I'll mention is we did receive an order of conditions from the Conservation Commission, and that was issued about a month ago.
Great. So to clarify a few things, just purely logistically, rule-wise, there were 4 of us here tonight who were here when this began. Mr. Nicastro was not on the board yet, so he will not be able to vote on this, but he is still welcome to ask questions and join deliberation and everything else. Great. Okay, and also, just while we're on that topic, stormwater permit is by simple majority. Site plan review is by simple majority. The special permit is for the floodplain district.
You are correct.
And that is a 2/3 majority?
You need 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Okay.
So
Supermajority, yeah.
you'll need all 4 minus Mr. DeCastro.
Great. Okay. All right. What are our requirements to look at for the floodplain special permit in the broad sense? This is the first one we will have looked at, so I want to make sure that our ducks are in a row. I mean, heck, I helped write that bylaw, but it still isn't, because I say write, I helped take the mandatory language from the state and put it into our bylaws. Is there anything we should be looking at in addition here, other than stormwater and everything looks good and probably won't impact floodplain?
I think this is mostly dealing with the stormwater management conditions that we impose are largely sufficient to comply with your floodplain bylaw.
And I think compensatory storage would be the thing if they're filling floodplain, and I think that in their stormwater design, they've provided that compensatory storage for the minor filling that they're doing. That's essentially, the floodplain is to ensure that we don't continue to allow people to fill the floodplain, so then everything floods.
All right, that matches my very basic and rough understanding, so wonderful.
And if I could add one thing to that too, when we filed with Conservation Commission, there is no wetland buffer zone or riverfront area on the site. The reason we had to file with them is because floodplain is jurisdictional to the Conservation Commission. So the Conservation Commission and Mass DEP both had the opportunity and did review this project as well.
Great. Now, that's wonderful, and that's relevant. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But we're the ones who, by the bylaw and by the state expectations,
I understand.
have to stamp it have to approve it or not.
Yeah.
So, okay, I would look to the board for additional comments or questions. Hearing none, seeing none, and Tim, just interrupt whenever, you know how it works. This is a public hearing. I will ask, do we have public comment on 30 Summer Street? Seeing none, is Tim the only person online right now? Okay, great, just because I only see one at the back, that helps me know. Super, great, just let me know if there's hands. Okay,
Move we close the hearings for 30 Summer Street, PBSW 25-6, PBSA 25-8, and PBSP 25-9.
Second.
moved and seconded. All in favor, we'll do, not all in favor, it's going to be a roll call vote. Ms. Reed?
Aye.
Miss Adam, I'm blanking on your last name because I'm a jerk and
That's all right. Aye.
Mr. DeCastro? Aye. Mr. Wilsmer?
Aye.
And an aye from myself. Okay.
So now I would take an individual vote on each permit.
Yep. Well, we're going, so we can move for each permit but some are going to have some additional, we'll likely have, I'm expecting we'll have some additional conditions. Thank you. Okay, let's go for we can do whatever people move first, but I'd recommend we start with the stormwater and go in order.
I move we approve the stormwater permit for 30 Summer Street, PBSW 25-6, with all standard conditions.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Amanda?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Tony? Aye. Tim?
Aye.
And an aye from myself. Okay. How about maybe site plan review?
I move that we approve the site plan review for 30 Summer Street, PBSA 25-8, with the standard conditions and additional conditions of no rental trucks, or no truck rental will be performed on the property. I'm going to pause and let Steve catch up.
Got it?
If the operator wishes to add truck rental to the operation, a modification to site plan approval is required.
Got it?
The applicant will work with the Lunenburg Police Department as part of the installation of any security system to ensure communication and cooperation.
Got it.
And the hours of operation for the facility will be 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday through Sunday.
Okay, got it?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote. Ms. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro.
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer.
Aye.
And an aye from myself. Okay, great. Now, how about the special permit for building in the floodplain district?
I move that the planning board approve the floodplain special permit for 30 Summer Street, PBSP 25-9, with all standard conditions.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote. Ms. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Bernie.
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro. Oh, I'm having him vote on these and I realize.
Taking it to the.
Thank you. I'm just doing it by habit and processing that he can't actually, the vote does. Excellence. Everyone else is on top of things. I'll take it. Mr. Wilsmer.
Aye.
And an aye from myself.
I'm realizing now that we didn't discuss construction hours, and standard construction hours tend to be flexible. We appoint them for each motion.
That is true.
So I would like to amend my motion for the site plan to include construction hours from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays.
Are we sure we don't include construction hours in the?
We do
others?
include construction hours, but I don't think we have a standard hours.
No, you do have a provision for hours, but they do vary.
They vary.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, no, I meant, I think we used to at least also have one in the stormwater, I thought, because you could have stormwater without site plan.
true.
So,
So I guess I'll start with the amendment to the,
can we amend all three at the same time? And
I
include
think
that?
this would be a provision that would apply to your site plan decision.
Okay, great, fine.
I will second, if that
All
was
right,
the end of
moved
that.
and seconded. All right. Ms. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Bernie,
aye.
Mr. Wilsmer. Tim, we can't hear you.
Sorry. Aye. I thought I'd stayed off of mute.
Yep, nope, no worries. And an aye from myself.
Okay, 4-0 on all of them.
Yep. Bang-a-rang, all right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So board members, I'll write up the decision probably tomorrow and get it out to you. You know the drill by now. If we don't hear from you by next Monday morning, Lee will be sending this out, I guess, for electronic signature now? All right. Okay,
Yep.
that's it.
Okay. And next up, we would have continued from our May 11th meeting, 10 Parmenter Road, including stormwater permits, PBSW 2612 and PBSW 2613, and special permits, PBSP 263 and PBSP 264.
So just to set the stage, board, Graves did review the project and post their comments. The applicant sent their response to comments and revised plans today.
It was a week ago, I believe, last Monday.
Okay. What happened today was Graves came back with their secondary review, I believe.
That is news to me. I was checking this morning. I did not see anything relative to
Okay,
that.
I'll let me double check on that.
Okay.
Go ahead with your.
Okay, all right, thank you. Ryan Proctor, again, Dillison Roy representing the applicant. As the planning director just mentioned, we did provide some responses to the peer review comments received from Graves, along with some revised materials, which included site plan and drainage report materials. We also addressed a handful of comments that were received at the opening public hearing by the board. Again, I'd like to just go through the letter. We have essentially two portions of this project in front of you. We have lots 2 through 4 on Ruth Street, which are shown on the upper plan here, and then we have a stormwater permit and a common driveway for lots 5 to 13, which are on the lower plan. I will pull that up when we get to that, but I will start with the common driveway only, which serves lots 2 through 4. There are quite a few duplicate comments, so the second one should move a little bit quicker. So for the plan that you have in front of you tonight on the easel right now, the first comment was a simple one. It was that the plans need to include the telephone numbers of the owner and applicant. We have added that to the title sheet of the revised plans. The second comment was relative to soil testing, in that we need to provide stormwater soil testing in all of the proposed stormwater device locations. We have done that. We have the test pit data shown either on the detail sheet or, in the case of the lots 5 through 13, on the site plan itself, the grading sheet. Comment number 3 was relative to the stormwater operation and maintenance manual, in that they need to identify who will be the operators and the maintainers of the stormwater system. So we have updated the O&M manual to reflect that. Again, staying in the stormwater O&M for the next couple comments, it needs to include and state inspection and maintenance logs that will be provided to the planning board on a yearly basis. So we've added that to the operation and maintenance manual. The O&M needs to include a signature of the owners. We have added that to the O&M. And lastly, the operation and maintenance manual needs to define a major storm event. In other words, the amount of rain that triggers a mandatory inspection or operation and maintenance of the stormwater system. And we have identified that as the 2-year storm event, and that is identified in the operation and maintenance manual. And feel free to jump in if you have any specific questions. I'll just continue to go through, though. There was a typographical error, just a consistency error between the hydrologic model and the site plans relative to the outlet control structure. For outlet control structure number 1, we've revised that. There was a question about the slope for infiltration basin number 1, which is the larger of the 2 basins at the top of the plan. So we have revised the slopes to provide a 3-to-1 slope. There was a question about our total suspended solids removal calculations. We were essentially double counting the sediment forebay for the pre-treatment device of stormwater prior to discharging the infiltration basin to the infiltration basin. So we have removed that so that we are not taking double credit essentially for the sediment forebay. The 10th comment was to show the location of a stabilized construction entrance. So we do have one shown at the entrance of Ruth Street, and there's a detail shown for that on the details page. Lastly, from the peer review letter, there was a construction detail comment relative to the drip line recharge trench, in that we set it back from the foundation 1 foot, and that has been revised on the construction details page of the site plans as well. Those are all the peer review comments. I do have some from the board. Are there any questions before I get into the board comments on the peer review responses at this point? I imagine you'll want to wait to hear from Graves, of course, but. All right, I will proceed. There were just 3 comments from the board at the initial meeting. The first of which was there was a turning movement diagram missing from the common driveway for lots 2 through 4. It's not depicted on this sheet, but there was one added to the detail sheet of the plan set. There was a question about the overflow for the lower detention basin discharging directly into Ruth Street. So it has been revised to provide it perpendicular to Ruth Street so that it would discharge to the wetland area instead. All of these have been designed for the 100-year storm event with no discharge over the spillway. We expect that Graves has reviewed that, or we know that they have relative for compliance with the stormwater standards. And lastly, there was a question about whether there will be an HOA prepared for the common driveway, and we anticipate that there will be some sort of mechanism in either an HOA or other, but any language relative to that would be submitted to the board prior to construction for their review. So that was the peer review response and the comments for this portion of the project. Before I get into the larger portion of this project, if you will, I'm happy to take any questions on the common driveway serving lots 2 and 4.
Do you have an update on when the mechanism for stormwater maintenance for the lots will be determined and submitted? Because I think we'll want to see that as part of the approval of the project.
The operation and maintenance is defined in the O&M
No,
manual
the
itself.
HOA or whatever it is that they end up proposing. That will need to be part of the approval.
Prior to an approval?
Yeah.
You've got lots sharing a stormwater device.
Yep. We do. Yeah, they discharge the same device.
We
correct.
would want to see the homeowner association language and run it by town council.
Okay, I will consult with the applicant on that as well.
And if you want example language, we've got that from other projects.
Okay, that would be helpful. Thank you. Shall I move on?
Yep, go ahead and move on, and then we'll get board comments and questions on the whole thing, and then we'll open for public comment as well.
Sounds great. Okay, so similar to Lot 4, again, we received peer review comments for both applications. So this one's a little bit more involved. We have 4 lots that are sharing a common driveway. Again, forgive the laser pointer, I know it's very bright. 4 lots on a common driveway, and then we have 5 single lots that are part of the same stormwater management permit, but they are all on private driveways. So again, I will go through the peer review letter that we received from Graves. There are several duplicate comments. I will go quickly through the duplicates. So the first is relative to the phone number. We've included that on the site plans. We performed soil testing in the locations of all stormwater control devices. The operation and maintenance manual, we needed to include the emergency contacts and the operators and maintainers of the system. We had the logs within the operation and maintenance manual. Again, those will be provided to the board on a yearly basis. The O&M has been signed by the owner, and we have identified the major storm event that would trigger the typical operation and maintenance requirements for the stormwater management system. The construction entrance, again, we've shown them on, I believe, each of the proposed accesses to either Parmenter or Ruth Street. So we have at the beginning of each driveway and then the common driveway itself. The drip line recharge trench, again, for the foundations has been offset from the foundation slightly and tapered away from the house so that we're not filling or encouraging stormwater to settle against the foundation. We actually worked that out directly with the peer review consultant. And there was a request to provide a rain garden detail. So we have updated that to show the sediment forebays specifically within the rain gardens to be consistent with what's shown on the design plans. And lastly, there was some confusion. The drip line recharge trench against the foundation looks very similar to the stone diaphragm along the proposed driveways. So we've created 2 very separate details, clearly identified those on the construction details plan so that there are 2 distinct standalone details. And then going into the planning board comments, again, I believe there was just 3, 2 of which we've talked about the HOA already, and then the overflows for the systems adjacent to the roadway. The last was a request to explore grass pavers at the emergency turnaround exit for the common driveway, which is shown right here. Just from a maintenance standpoint, it's much easier for homeowners to maintain plow pavement as opposed to grass pave. We did look at that, but just from a longevity standpoint, we decided to pave the turnaround entirely instead of the grass pave option, just for, again, longevity, operation, and maintenance, and we did factor in that increase in impervious into our stormwater design calcs. So that was the last comment. I think the only outstanding item was relative to limit of clearing and phasing of that. So we have taken a pretty conservative approach, and I'll start off by saying we are not proposing to clear cut the entire parcel or the entire hill. We have been conservative with what we've shown for limit of clearings, which are shown in the green outlines. So really what is required for the septic systems, the houses, and the driveways. Relative to phasing, and to avoid having to bring tree clearing equipment in, bring it out, come back again, and several, the applicant would prefer not to be restricted to phasing it on a lot-by-lot basis, just from a construction standpoint and a practicality standpoint. So I know that was raised at the last meeting. That's where they stand on that. I believe Allie from Benjamin Builders is on. She might be able to talk to that as well. But
So I'm going to jump in because I have
Please.
some thoughts on that.
Yes.
I don't have an issue with trees being removed in bulk at the limit of work. I think from a phasing perspective, When we start talking about stormwater, we're talking about earth disturbance, we're talking about building construction, and if we're going to issue an omnibus stormwater permit for this entire 8-unit portion of the development, I don't see a way that we can do it without phasing it, because I don't think it's reasonable to open up all of those lots and be building all of those houses at the same time. From a site management perspective, I don't think it's going to benefit the neighborhood, the builder, or the planning board in maintaining the stormwater controls, the erosion controls, and storm events. So I think we can agree that and I'll speak for myself, I can agree that clearing the limits of work to stump is a reasonable step, for all 8 lots. But I think when we get into construction, we need a phasing plan, and we need it to be detailed as to what happens in each phase, so that we can then move through issuing occupancy permits. If the applicant isn't willing to do that, then we just won't issue occupancy until all 8. My opinion is we shouldn't issue occupancy until all 8 houses are completed and every stitch of required greenery is back in place. I think it's a massive project. I think that it requires a surgical hand, not a brute force. We're just going to mobilize and go to town.
To build on that, please alert your client that tree removal is considered a construction activity, and don't do that until they have their pre-construction meeting.
Certainly.
That'll be myself, that'll be Jeff from Graves Engineering, that'll be the building commissioner. That's where we'll talk about what they're going to want to see for erosion controls. We ran into a project just recently where a landowner clear-cut 4 lots prior to their pre-construction meeting and created a problem, not only for town staff, but we got 16 complaints from neighbors. So don't do that.
Understood and noted.
So, Adam, to summarize what you said at a very high level, because I was trying to wrap my mind around the same concept, and I think you put it eloquently, was there's at least some of us up here would be of the opinion that, yeah, you don't want to unduly burden the developer in terms of having to move the tree equipment in and out several times. But the phasing is still important for the amount of soil totally disturbed, as well as at a time, as well as being able to get these to market in a way that is timely and useful for the applicant, so they can actually get money in a timely fashion. Am I summarizing that correctly?
Correct.
All right, I just want to make sure that we're all speaking the same language there. Super. Other comments or questions from the board? Okay, do you want to respond to that, or can I move on to public comment?
Yeah, no, I understand the sentiment. I do agree with your point about the owner doesn't want to be handcuffed and have to pause development and wait for 2 growing seasons for grass to fully establish and before moving on to projects. So
And I think for the other phase of this project, the 3 lots on the single common driveway,
right,
a phasing plan would also be helpful, because if we issue 1 stormwater permit and they've said, lot 5 is the first, lot 6 is the second, lot 7 is the third, when they're starting to wrap up with lot 5, and I don't know if that's the right lot numbers, but
right,
we can look at it and we can say, okay, they've done everything and the grass is germinating, we can sign off on that phase. So we're trying to hear what people have said is an issue for them, and we're trying to address it, and we're looking for the same back to us, because, again, this is a significant project in an area that's been fairly quiet development-wise for decades. And so the developer has to recognize that they're going to be under the microscope, not necessarily from us. And it's going to go easier for them if they play nice.
Yep, no, I understand.
And I know you understand, and I understand your client
Yeah.
is your client, and you have a job to do. So it's not, I'm not upset, I just want it to be clear.
Right.
And I am online here. I don't know, but I guess I'm confused as to where we're landing on the tree clearing. I know we're not gonna, hammer out 20 houses all at once. I don't think anybody wants that as far as cost and whatnot, but I do know they're interested in clearing the lots according to the plan, in that one time, so that everything is kind of, like I said, they're not moving giant machinery in and off the lot, paying they pay hundreds of dollars to move it every time they do it.
So what Mr. Burney was suggesting, and correct me. I can't.
She needs to identify herself.
Oh, that's right, thank you. Could you identify, we do need you to identify yourself for.
Sorry. Yep. So Ally Dugan for Benjamin Builders.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam. And again, correct me if I misspeak here. What Mr. Burney was suggesting, and what sounds reasonable to me, we're not going to speak for the whole board, we haven't had a vote yet, was the notion that bringing in the equipment once and doing the requisite clearing down to stump would be appropriate, so long as it's timed correctly, as our planner has pointed out, as well as Mr. Wallace pointed out, after the pre-construction meeting. So it could be, what we're discussing is the possibility it could be cleared to stump in one swoop. But it would not be beneficial for you to not have a phasing plan for all of the other work to be done. Otherwise, we can only approve it once everything is fully complete.
Okay, that's understandable. So if we need to create a phasing plan for the construction itself, so it can be signed off in phases.
Yeah, with the understanding that removing the trees, you are correct. Being technical, removing the trees counts as construction, which is why you have to have the pre-construction meeting first. But for the common word of construction, yes, the construction would then be in phases.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just want to make sure we can have multiple, we don't plan on building 20 houses at once, but I know we typically, pour a foundation, have the framing crew start on that while they pour an additional foundation, and, kind of have a few running that they can stagger and be in one place for a few weeks or,
I suggest
months.
you work with your engineer to develop a phasing plan that we can review and provide comment back to.
All right, we'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. What I'd like to do now is, this is a public hearing. I do want to invite public comment. Is there public comment this evening? Go ahead. I'll have you come on up to the microphone and just share your name and your address, and then speak away. And as a broad reminder, and I'm just going to, I find it's helpful, we're looking at the stormwater permits and the special permits for the common driveways, specifically. That's this board's purview.
Right.
Great, go ahead.
My name is Judy Viviano. I live at 13 Ruth Street. And I thank you for your comments and for your concern about clear cutting. Where I live is downward of this hill, and I'm the last access to the lake. So I really sit downward. So I would really have you keep in mind the clear cutting would really create a lot of water for me, because we're coming downward and you're talking about a very large area. And that's my biggest concern, is that you clear cut everything and then it creates a flooding problem. So I appreciate your concern and doing it in phases, which would really help a lot. I think so we could recover in the interim. So if you could just keep that in mind as we proceed forward, I'd appreciate it.
Well, that's why we want to have our consulting engineer out there for the pre-construction meeting before they start cutting trees, so that they can specify where the erosion control devices need to be and how to set them up so that the land does not flood other properties.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it.
Very welcome. Thank you. Do we have other public comment tonight? All right. Seeing none?
I did have one other question.
Yeah,
Based
please.
on that. Do you have temporary stormwater controls proposed, or are you confident that the erosion control will handle it?
The soils are exceptionally well drained out
Okay,
there, and we
that's-
did soil tests, so I'm pretty confident. Typically, they'll rough in the basins, and those will more often than not function
Sure.
as temporary basins also.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, other questions or comments from the board? Okay, and we are waiting on,
Graves to do their review, their secondary review of their revised plans. So I believe, though, Graves is in possession of those revised plans and
Correct.
your comment letter, so they can have that ready in time for our next meeting on Monday, July 13th.
all right, and does that work for you for a date to continue to?
It does.
All right, great. If there's nothing else from the board, I would look for a motion.
I move we continue the 10 Parmenter Road project, PBSW 26-12, PBSW 26-13, and PBSP 26-3, and PBSP 26-4 to 13 July at 6:05.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. And we'll roll call vote. Ms. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Mr. Nicastro? Aye. Mr. Wilsmer?
Aye.
And an aye from myself.
Great. Thank
See you in
you.
a couple weeks.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Or is it, my goodness, it's 3 weeks, isn't it? Wow. Fancy. Okay. Next up would be 860 New West Townsend Road.
Okay, so this is the project where Graves has conducted their secondary review and got us comments last Friday. So now it's up, and they had some substantial comments, so now it's up to the applicant to address those comments. But why don't you go through how your plan has changed since the last time the board has seen it?
Absolutely. So once again, Ryan Proctor, Dillis and Roy representing the owners and applicants, Dan and Rachel Brackett. So from a layout perspective, and just as a reminder for the board, it's been a little while since we've been here for this one. The application before you is for the construction of a common driveway to service 4 residential lots. On each lot, we're proposing a townhome, excuse me, each of which would consist of 5 units. We did permit this with the Zoning Board of Appeals earlier this year. And we are currently permitting the project with the Conservation Commission. At their meeting last week, there are no outstanding comments from them. They did just continue the meeting. They want to see if there are any substantial changes as part of this process
Why is this before ZBA again?
for the townhome use on the residential lots.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
As the planning director just mentioned, we received comments from Graves, follow-up peer reviews on Friday. There were, I think, 38 comments in their initial letter. We are down to 4 with action items. 2 of them were typographical inconsistencies between the calculations and our site plans. We have not addressed these yet, as we just got the comments on Friday. One of which was relative to a stormwater basin at the top of the site. where the very bottom of that intercepts the estimated seasonal high groundwater. So they did ask us to take another look at that and revise that. It is at the top of the hill and it's in series with other basins. So we will provide a response to that and a minor redesign. Other than that, they were satisfied with the remainder of our hydrologic calculations and stormwater report materials, as well as the site plan as well. I can go quickly through the letter. I said there's a lot of comments, if that would be helpful.
Get the highlights.
Yeah, I'd say yeah.
Okay, yeah. So again, they were mostly relative to stormwater. Similar to the previous applications, they required that we soil tested in the areas of the stormwater basins, and just given the time of year that we filed with your board, it was not possible to get onto the site because it was the middle of winter, hence all of the continuations, so I apologize for that. But so we did take care of that. We resolved a lot of the inconsistencies, the typographical errors between the model and the site plans. And by and large, the site plan itself did not change much with respect to layout or configuration. There were some swales near the lower portion of the site adjacent to New West Townsend Road, and the grading of the road changed. We had a 1% cross slope shown. We changed that to a 2% just to make sure that stormwater was getting ultimately to where that we were modeling it in our model. Those are the highlights. Again, it really did not change much from a layout or configuration. The only question that was raised by the board at the first meeting that I just wanted to address tonight, there was a question about adding potentially a looped configuration for the driveway instead of having the common driveway with the individual ones provided off of that.
You show that on the map with your little light?
Yeah, so there was a question basically to look at the common driveway terminates here. There was a question to loop it sort of up and around and then have the and then loop back on itself, with the individual driveways becoming a little bit shorter. The first iteration of our plans actually did have a configuration like that, and we were running into challenges with the grades. The site is sloped very consistently and steeply from New West Townsend Road all the way to the back of the site. So to meet minimum grades, the common driveway can only be a maximum of 10%, and then the individual driveways are 12%. So we were finding ourselves, if we maintain that 10% for the loop as we get up higher onto the site, we were cutting more than we were comfortable with, especially when we get up to the eventual foundations or the garages for the proposed units. So we did take a look at that. And then the only other challenge was it may have required a waiver for the length of the driveway, depending on where exactly the top of the loop came in. We have about 940 feet for the common portion of the driveway currently. So that it started to get a little bit longer than that. I think that was the last outstanding item that I wanted to speak to. Happy to take any questions.
I saw the fire department was okay with the layout. I don't love it, but I understand it. Fire protection is my other question. You're in a non-watered area. You have a series of wells for each of the units.
Yep.
They're all going to require a full NFPA system in them.
Yep.
Is there a provision for cisterns or some other sort of bulk water source?
There is. So it's very hard to see on the plan, but right adjacent to the turnaround in the breakout fill, we do show it's a footprint right now. We'd of course work out on it with the fire department, but we show a 30,000 gallon
30,000
footprint. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
And I would like to thank Ms. Reed. We did your comment about the fire department, not just checking the box on OpenGov. I did follow up with them this time, so we did get a written response. Thank you.
So, how many wells are on this site? Because there's a lot of other people in this area that draw out these wells.
Yep.
You're going to be tapping into the aquifer and filling a 30,000 gallon cistern. So how many wells do you plan on?
We just have four wells, one for each lot.
That,
And each lot has 5 units, correct?
That's correct.
It's a heck of a well. I mean, bigger ones exist too, don't get me wrong, I don't.
and maybe you can't answer this question, but what's the capacity, what's the longevity of these wells?
I'm not sure.
That's what I
the
mean,
expertise,
right?
yeah.
So we're going to fill a 30,000 gallon cistern, right?
Yep.
And then we're going to draw water off it, and then,
Well, cistern is just for emergency.
right,
for the
I understand,
sprinklers.
for
Okay.
fire protection.
Right.
But then we're going to draw water off it, And then there's the surrounding area that probably tap into this local aquifer. Yeah, when I was on, this came before when I was on the zoning board.
Yes,
And I
yep.
had some problems with the way this whole fire protection thing was happening. So, I'm just voicing my concerns.
Okay, no, I appreciate it.
So I think, my apologies if we had this discussion last time and I don't fully remember the details.
It's been a while.
Yeah. But I get how we landed here. I had never imagined that our common driveway would service, that we kind of designed thinking 4 units. And I even then, I understand it, I should have understood mentally it could have been 8 just due to our usual duplex, the ability to have a duplex. I never really considered when we made the bylaw that a common driveway could service 20 units. What steps are being taken for that common driveway to be able to, I mean, what are you doing differently from the bare minimum requirements or from the typical requirements so that this common driveway is going to be appropriate for 20 units?
Yeah, this came up at ZBA also. So your common driveway requires a width of 18 feet. The ZBA did request that we go up to 20 feet. So it's a little bit wider, provides better access for the residents. When you get up to the split driveways, we do have additional parking across from the units for each units at the end of each private driveway. We, of course, have the turnaround for the emergency vehicles. And then from a sight distance perspective, there is, for those who are familiar with the road, there's very poor sight distance currently. We are proposing to remove a lot of the earth adjacent to the road to provide the opening for the driveway and expand on that sight distance, not just for the users of this, but also for the standard and typical vehicular users of New West Townsend Road. So we are providing a benefit for the project, but also for the public as well.
For the driveway, are there shoulders on either side?
We do have the 2 foot. I don't believe we have gravel because we widened, but there are grass shoulders, at least 2 feet, and then the grass swales for the stormwater system.
So
as
there
well.
should be room for 2 cars going in different directions to pass each other.
Oh, yeah, certainly. Yep.
Is there any and you can easily also just explain to me why this concern is not necessary. I'm fine with that. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it. Seems like a lot of traffic for a typical driveway construction. I don't mean width-wise in this case. I mean in terms of, that's a lot of people driving up and down it. Is this being constructed differently with the underlayment or anything else? I say as if I really know what I'm talking about, and I don't. But is this being built differently somehow to account for the level of traffic that will be coming through here, or is that not really a worry, and why would that be the case?
I wouldn't think it would be a standard worry. It's built with the 3 inches of asphalt, which is required per your bylaw. All the standards of the common driveway that would normally apply with the turnout areas, the width, which I mentioned is larger, we are not requesting any waivers for this. So I would not expect any.
And I guess my question is 3 inches of asphalt, we wrote the common driveway bylaw to be a common driveway, not a,
Mini road?
yeah, not to be a workaround for a subdevelopment, or for a subdivision.
There's always a workaround.
I mean, there's always a workaround.
I think what I would say is the 3 inches is an older road spec, 1.5 or 2 base course, 1 inch top course. Most communities have gone to 2.5, 1.5 for wearing purposes, for settling purposes. We do require a 35,000 pound gross vehicle weight standard to support fire trucks. So it should be robust enough. I mean, if it's something that you're really concerned about, it is a special permit. We could find that the 2.5, 1.5 is more appropriate based on the number of units, even though it's serving the maximum 4 lots that we permit. So, I mean, I think the board has some say in that way.
No, that is where I'm going with this, but I'm not sure that, I'm not implying that I think that's necessarily the right answer.
No,
I
and
don't
mean,
know.
and maybe that's a good question to pass on to Graves as
Yeah.
part of their additional review, just to get our engineer's perspective on it.
I would like that. Yeah, I would like Graves' opinion on if the 3 inches of asphalt, as we require, would be appropriate for this number of units. My specific worry is I'm always thinking about the future citizens and residents of Lunenburg, who now we've got 20, maybe 20 individuals, up through small families, who are, I hate to put them in a position where they're on the hook at a cadence they're not expecting, and that their that might not even be initially thought of in terms of reserves and everything for an HOA to maintain that driveway, to then be putting a lot more money into maintenance sooner and more frequently than they'd expect.
Is that something we can require in their HOA documentation like we do with stormwater?
Well, and
At least the longevity of care, if that's the issue you're concerned with. Because I see the same thing if you have 20 to 40 cars driving back and forth over I mean, my driveway's horrible and we have 2 cars. So
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
And my experience would say that something like this is going to wear quicker than anybody who lives there thinks that it should. I think a road, they say a full depth reconstruction should last you 20 years. But if you do a mill and overlay at 10 or 15 years, you extend the life of the base course because you prevent water intrusion and all that. That's not going to happen here. It's just not, unless you have a paving guy who lives there or somebody who is just into it. So what's going to happen is in 15 years, it's going to start to crack. They're all going to grumble. Nobody's going to do anything. And in 25 years, they're going to complain because it's pothole city and it's spalling and it's a mess. And they're going to call the town and say, oh, will you accept our road? And they're going to get, oh, well, it's not really a road. And then it's a whole rigmarole.
And the
So-
town
So
cannot
maintenance of it
accept the
should be
road.
spelled out in the homeowner association.
Correct, and I think that's, but I think pavement maintenance spelled out in there just flies right over most folks' head who don't have some exposure or experience to it.
So you would like Graves' opinion whether 3 inch of asphalt is appropriate for a development serving so many units?
Correct.
Yes.
I will ask that direct question.
So, and I think, whether it's 3 or 4 inches, I think the same thing happens. It might be a 5-year or 10-year longer timeline. It may not. It depends how they treat it, how they take care of it in the winter, if they're doing the things that go along with it. So I appreciate the sentiment. I also think that the future citizens who live here are probably going to have those problems regardless of how much they're protected or not.
No, that's
I think it's a valid exercise to ask that question. And I think, hopefully you heard that, but the allusion to this will also need those HOA documents prior to approval, just so you have 4 condominiums, so they're going to have their own HOA, and then there's going to be the HOA of the HOAs to maintain the common driveway. However your client wants to get their lawyer to do that, whether they all just allude to their 25% in the common driveway, or if there's 4 HOAs and then another HOA on top of it, that's lawyery stuff that I don't want to tell your client how to do. The question came up about the wells. Is it 10 units or greater that becomes a semi-public well that you need DEP approval for?
Don't know off the top of my head, that does sound right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to flag that in case it was 5, and
I don't.
because that could be a
believe
really
5, yeah.
long process.
No, it's not 5.
It's not 5? Okay, because I feel like the number was smaller than 10, but that's just based off of when we were doing the Water Supply Protection District work. I was much more fluent in well legality.
I would just hate to get through this and then have your client find out it's going to be 3 years before they get to build anything because they're in the DEP pipeline.
We'll check on that.
All right. I'm going to take this pause to turn and say, do we have any public comment on this tonight? Seeing none? All right. And so we're waiting on a response from Graves, correct? Or
No, Graves
where are
has
we
given
on
their
this?
response. It's now up to them to revise their plans
That's
based
where-
on
okay.
Graves' secondary review. And then
Right.
we're going to want Graves to look at their secondary response and give them a clean bill of health before you vote.
As well as the additional feedback from tonight. Do you have any questions for us, by the way?
No, I don't think so. You've been quite clear.
Okay, great.
I do have one last
Please.
information request. The length of the individual driveways from the terminus of the common driveway.
I will get you those. I
And
do
I'll
have
tell
some
you
lunch on.
why
yeah.
I ask is fire protection. Because you do have a lovely little auto turn showing it turning around in the common driveway.
Right.
But if the last building on the right there is on fire, they're going to drive the engine down there because it makes sense. And it doesn't look to me like they're going to be able to turn around. And that's a really long way to back up.
Yep.
And if they try to stage at the end of the common driveway, that's a lot of hose to drag all the way down to those homes.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's adding an extra leg for them to be able to just get the engine off that, out of that, like to turn around and come out, or something. It might be worth a call to the fire protection officer and just see what his thoughts are. He might say, no, we got plenty of hose, it's fine, but I just want to have that conversation before they're responding in January to an incident and get stuck.
Okay. Understood.
So I'm going back to fire protection, right? Cistern. How many hydrants?
You have the hoses off the cistern itself, but we don't have any hydrants shown for
So-
the development itself.
So what's the difference what's the length between the cistern and the furthest condo?
I can get you that exact number. It's about 400 feet to the highest one, to the furthest one.
So they got to drag out 400 feet of hose to their truck to put the fire out at the furthest one. I mean, my sticking point is the whole fire protection thing going on here. I'm not satisfied with what you're proposing and how you're getting water.
Okay, we will review that with the fire department.
All right. Other comments or questions from the board? Hearing none? When would you like to continue to?
To your next meeting, please. Graves' comments were only a couple, so we'll address those and talk to the fire department.
Can do.
I move we continue 860 New West Townsend Road, PBSA 26-1, PBSW 26-1, and PBSP 26-1 to 13 July at 6:05.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call. Ms. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Burney.
Aye.
Mr. Nicastro.
Aye?
Mr. Wilsmer.
Aye.
And an aye from myself. See you in 3 weeks.
We will.
And next up would be after we're done, 934 Mass Ave has requested a continuance. So we're going to, I'm going to,
13
what?
to 13 July.
Yes.
I move we continue 934 Mass Ave, PBSW 26-14 to 13 July at 6:05 PM.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ms. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Burney.
Aye.
Mr. Nicastro.
Aye?
Mr. Wilsmer.
Aye.
And an aye from myself. Great. finally, 1325 Mass Ave, site plan review, PBSA 26-5.
The Lunenburg Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, June 22nd, 2026, at 6 PM, Town Hall, 17 Main Street, Lunenburg, Mass., to hear and review applications for site plan approval and a stormwater permit for a commercial office building at 1325 Mass Avenue pursuant to Sections 250-8.4 Site Plan and Section Chapter 204 Stormwater and Storm Sewers of the Code of the Town of Lunenburg. Subject property information, the location is 1325 Mass Avenue in Lunenburg, Mass. Assessors map 62, parcel number 3. Owners are GCLT Realty Trust LLC, 105 Chestnut Street in Lunenburg, Mass. 01462. You can view materials online at lunenburgma.portal.opengov.com/search with record ID PBSA 26-5 via an email request to the planning office, planning@lunenburgma.gov, or in person at the planning office at 960 Mass Avenue in Lunenburg.
Good evening. Lastly, tonight, Ryan Proctor, Dillis and Roy. I'm here tonight representing the applicant, and just one correction for the record, nothing major, but the applicant is GCJT, not LT, Realty Trust.
GCJT.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
So this is a pretty exciting project for me. I'm happy to be here tonight presenting this. I know the applicant wished he could be here, however, he had a commitment in Townsend Planning Board that he is at tonight. So the project that we are here for tonight is for the construction of a new office building for, as you'll see on the architectural plans, for Dillis and Roy. So before I get into that, just as a brief history of the project, I'm sure the board will have recognized the site address 1325 Mass Ave. We have been before you several times over the past few years for the development of this site. Initially, I believe it was back in 2019, we had filed for a stormwater management permit for some earth removal activities at the property in preparation for the eventual development. At that time, we had permitted a very large stormwater basin, which has since been constructed. And then in 2022 and 2023, we permitted phase 2 of the project, which I'll call it, which is what I have shown here on the board. So we had permitted the site development, which included the construction of 3 commercial buildings, the largest of which was permitted as a contractor's yard. We had a personal improvement building, and then we had a generic professional office building. As part of that project, we had carved off an individual lot of just over 40,000 square feet, which included the office building only. So I want to be clear, this is not a new project on this site. This is essentially a minor amendment to a previously issued portion of this overall project. So there were some minor amendments, and when the applicant is going to eventually be submitting for a building permit, he did not want to have any issues in being tied essentially to the current site plan approval packet. So I met with the planning director and the building commissioner, and we thought the best path forward was to start fresh with a standalone site plan approval for this site, and then amend the existing stormwater permit simply to add this new owner to that stormwater permit, since they do share a system. There's an operation and maintenance plan. There are easements already in place for that, but that was the avenue that we chose. So I'm just going to switch over plans to show just the standalone lot at this time. So the project, as I mentioned, is the construction of an office building, again, as previously permitted as part of that collective development of the site. There are 3 minor modifications which I'd like to talk to. The first of which, the building was previously permitted as a 5,400 square foot building. We've increased that slightly to a 6,000 square foot building. We had already exceeded what we had previously permitted. We had more than adequate parking for the 5,400. We also had more than enough for a 6,000 square foot building. So we were required to do 20 spaces. We're providing 24 with 2 handicap accessible spaces at the front of the building. The other minor modification, the pavement width between the parking spaces in front of the building was previously permitted as 24 feet wide. We've increased that to 26 feet, just to provide a little bit more maneuverability within the building. And lastly, we did add some access to the westerly side of the building and a patio in the rear of the building. Again, those were not shown on the design plans. The building is essentially in the same exact space as previously permitted. The parking lot configuration is the same. We're not proposing any modifications to any of the utility connections or connection to the state road that we had previously permitted. In preparation for this meeting and in preparation for one of your comments, we did send a copy of these plans to Graves Engineering for a peer review prior to coming before you. They did issue a letter, I believe on Friday afternoon, indicating that they had no concerns with the hydrologic calculations, which we updated per the increase in impervious area. They had no issues or concerns with the site development, with the one note that the previously permitted project had light poles within the parking lot. We are not proposing those anymore. We want to provide less lighting on the general site and consolidate it to the building. So we are proposing security lighting over the man doors and downward facing and shielded wall packs along the building itself, which we think is more than adequate enough to service for security. So we are not proposing the light poles within the parking lot anymore. And that was the only outstanding comment from Graves that came in on Friday. So I think I will leave it there. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
I think my question is probably to Steve. We have a site plan filing, we don't have a modification filing for the stormwater permit?
They are pitching the stormwater change as a de minimis change,
Okay.
saying that it's simply just swapping out ownership.
Correct.
Well, it's increasing the impervious area by a number.
But they,
And I don't have a problem with it. I'm not, this isn't like, ooh, it's a bad thing. You added 600 square feet to the building, you added the sidewalk. I imagine the patio is some sort of paver, but it still has a factor to it. And you
Absolutely.
added 2 feet of width to the paved parking area. So I just want to be able to quantify that number as part of whatever approval we move forward with.
you gave Graves some calculations
Correct.
on.
We did.
All right.
And that's all good. I just want to make sure we incorporate it in a decision in a way that carries forward.
I'm happy to provide exact numbers tonight for the pavement width, the building, and the patio, if that would be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, do you have a total square footage?
600 square feet for the building. The patio is, I believe, 945 square feet. And then I would have to do some napkin math for the parking lot itself, which I could do on the fly if you'd like me to.
I mean, even if you can give me like an educated ballpark. I mean,
Sure.
it's 2 feet by the width of the parking lot,
Exactly,
right?
correct.
So,
Forgive me, I'm going to use my phone here. You'll never have a
God
calculator in your
forbid you use
pocket.
the $200 calculator.
I've had that since high school. It's pretty blurry. 216 square feet for the parking lot, roughly. And
So you made the
Yeah.
case that the
we're
system
less
that
than
you
two-
designed initially, the stormwater system.
Correct.
Is large enough to accommodate the increase that you're proposing as part of this plan.
that's right.
Correct,
That-
and Graves confirmed that. I just want to, I think 2,000 square feet of additional impervious on a site that has an over-designed system is probably qualifies as a de minimis change, especially since a factor of it is clean runoff. Most of it is clean runoff, actually, because it's the patio and the sidewalk. Just, I want to be able to, when we make it if we vote, that we include that information.
Certainly, in the decision, certainly.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we'll also need to approve the de minimis.
We'll need to find that it's de minimis.
Find us, yes. Which isn't for the stormwater, and that isn't listed tonight. So will that have to be a separate?
It was in the advertisement.
Oh, it was? Okay.
I mean, it mentioned stormwater if you listen to Miss Reed.
I will be completely frank. No, I did not.
Wow.
So when this was originally approved, there was some back and forth with MassDOT about the access permit and
Correct.
the cross parking lot connection.
Yep.
Has that been resolved? Are you obtaining your own Mass Highway access permit?
So we are going to be getting an updated one.
Okay.
We are not proposing any changes to it was previously permitted.
Okay.
We had permits.
So you're just going to reapply, same thing, reapply for the
Yeah.
permit, new name.
Identical plan, different.
Should be a relatively simple process, as simple as MassDOT gets.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yep.
All right, other questions from the board?
So the zoning board special permit has been granted to Daniel and Jean Proctor.
Yes.
It doesn't say anything about JCT Realty.
Correct. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wednesday? Yes. All right.
All right. This is,
I'm sorry, I'd just like to clarify. We are going before ZBA for a sign permit. The zoning board approvals that were previously issued were for the contractor yard use, which is isolated to the building in the back. So that will not need to be modified at all, because we are a standalone use here. And then the land disturbance, I believe within the Zone 3 Aquifer Protection District, was relative to site disturbance, which has already occurred. We are not proposing anything outside of that.
Because I asked that question because you uploaded it with all your documents.
Yeah, there was a checkbox that says has previous zoning board approvals been issued, so I just put them all in there.
all right. This is a public hearing. Do we have any public comment?
Good evening. Dan Proctor, 1529 Mass Ave. I also own a couple of the units in that contractor yard as well as the vacant lot that has not been developed yet. And I just want to say, obviously, we're very excited for Dillis and Roy. It's a beautiful building. It will be a nice addition to the neighborhood as well as the town of Lunenburg. So we're in favor of it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none. Questions or, do we have further questions or thoughts from the board?
Ready to close?
I can say, I think we have everything we need.
I move we close the hearing on 1325 Mass Ave, PBSA 26-5.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Roll call. Ms. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Burney?
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer?
Aye.
And an aye from myself. Okay.
I move, oh,
No, I was gonna say, it's only funny because I would have sworn in my memory this was supposed to be retail, but clearly not. That's clearly my own faulty memory. But I had that moment, I'm like, is this changing? I guess not. Go ahead.
I move that we find the change to the stormwater permit of 1,800 square feet to be de minimis based on the nature of the new impervious and the confirmation by Graves that the proposed system will handle the additional runoff.
I will second.
Moved and seconded. Will roll call. Ms. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Burney?
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer?
Aye.
And an aye from myself.
I move that we approve the de minimis change to the stormwater permit at 1325 Mass Ave.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Ms. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Burney?
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer?
Aye.
And an aye from myself.
Any special conditions other than the usual site plan conditions?
No, that was stormwater.
No, yeah, that was we have found the stormwater change de minimis and approved the de minimis change.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Nope, no worries.
I move that we approve the site plan approval for 1325 Mass Ave, PBSA 26-5, with construction hours to be 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturdays, no Sundays or holidays.
8 a.m. till,
Noon.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Ms. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Burney?
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer?
Aye.
Aye from myself.
Great, thank you very much.
Mr. Proctor has earned his salary tonight.
Yes, thank you. Happy holidays, enjoy the 4th.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too. All right. Is that a record number of of public hearings in front of us in one night?
In front of you, yes, conservation, I think I've had over 5.
Oh, wow. All right, everybody. So now we are up to, that's all of our public hearings for tonight. Now we're up for decisions in business. The performance guarantee bond for 189 Electric Ave.
so folks, this is very much the same situation that you dealt with 189 Electric Avenue. They've done a lot of site work out there. Graves has inspected it. Graves has looked at their as-built plan and their bond amount. And I will read directly from Jeff from Graves' email. I reviewed the bond estimate dated June 10th, 2026, prepared by Haley Ward. The estimate total was $3,500 for work associated with the rain garden. I understand that the planning board may wish to include a 30% contingency in the bond estimate. If the $3,500 were to include a 30% contingency, then the surety would be $4,550. Whereas the stormwater-related work remaining consists of adjustments to the rain garden, in my opinion, a surety in the amount of $4,550 is sufficient to cover the work.
Great.
So in driving by the site, there's a lot of, or there has been a lot of things stored off to the right of the building. Looking at it from the street, it's hard to tell if they're on this lot or not. And there is the driveway that was constructed from the former residence there up into the site, which remains and is maybe graded base, maybe some sort of wrap.
I
It doesn't.
believe you've stopped using it.
Yes,
right?
so, yeah, we had.
Correct, but it doesn't seem to have any stormwater controls, and it remains in place. So I'm sort of hesitant to move forward with this bond until there's some resolution to that driveway that was never part of any stormwater permit and on a lot that wasn't ever permitted.
Okay, I believe that the ownership of the neighboring lot is under dispute between a brother and sister. So getting them to agree to do anything on their lot.
So the last time,
Difficult.
yeah.
Do you want to address that?
So the last time we received the notice, so we put some riprap stone and erosion control swells, like straw waddles.
On the driveway?
Yes, we did. And then maybe you don't see it now because I told everyone to stop using it. If somebody has used it, maybe something occasionally that nobody was aware of it, but we did put in front of their
So I
driveway.
believe their engineer is on Zoom. If you want to hear from him directly as to what's been done out there.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it needs to be taken out, and I think if there's no way to do that, then I think we need to pursue enforcement on the owners of that lot for remediation of stormwater work that, or land disturbance that was done without a stormwater permit.
If I may, Dan Sheehan here with Haley Ward. So since my involvement with the project, I have not known that there did any additional work without a stormwater permit, so I do apologize for that. That's just my lack of knowledge on that side as well. But as for like the bond surety here for Masupa 189, I think it's fair where his, I guess, obligation for the project he is trying to fulfill to be able to close out his section itself. While I'm never in favor of an enforcement over, rather be able to work things out with the applicant itself. It does seem like the planning director had mentioned, that this is undergoing some litigation, and unfortunately that might be the only proper course for the board. But that is all. I mean, I do apologize. It's just a lack of knowledge. I got put onto this project after that site has already been previously disturbed, as you guys have known, being that massive ledge site. And since then, I believe that driveway has been there since I've been there. Again, this is coming a few years later, so I do apologize, but that's all the information I can provide you tonight, unfortunately.
So, Adam, could you explain in,
Yeah, in English.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around
So
what the issue is.
There are, I believe, 4 lots there. And the 2 lots at...
5 lots.
It's 5 lots, okay. At 189 and 191 or something.
181 is the one you,
The last one we did, okay, so they're going down. So 181 and 189 are the northernmost lots. There are 3 lots to the south of that. There's an old residence on the last lot, which is like half buried.
The thing that looks like a buried house. but
Yes.
is
Yes.
built that
Correct.
way.
Correct.
Yeah.
And there's a driveway that comes in just north of that, cuts across the 3 lots to 189 and 181, which was put in by the gentleman in front of us as part of preparing those lots to build. It remains there, it's graded out, it has some sort of treatment on it. I didn't enter the lot, so I don't know if it's wrap or if it's graded base, or if they just smashed up the rocks that have lived there, or if it just has kind of created a smooth surface from being driven over. So that's disturbance outside of the approved stormwater permit. It's created a potential conveyance of water off of the site. Not that the site was particularly pervious or lovely to look at before. My concern is we do this bond, these units get sold, Bob's your uncle, and the party responsible for some or all of that is gone, and we're now stuck with this potential disturbed property that's under litigation between 2 warring siblings over a pittance of inheritance of these lots, and it just becomes another perpetual problem that lot has been for decades, which isn't this gentleman's issue, maybe it is those folks' issue, but where a bunch of work was done in anticipation of getting a permit that never showed, and so we sat with the shale graveyard for decades.
Okay, so that driveway is a more recent addition.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, I hadn't processed that. Okay, thank you.
It lives
also
in or
appreciate that.
around the life of these 2 duplexes.
Yes. All right, okay.
So I agree that it's good to have a bond in place and allow this gentleman to recoup the funds he's spent on building those homes and doing his job. But also, in doing that, we've been saddled with an additional potential issue that I'm looking for some resolution to.
I think what you're describing is an enforcement question. I can try to write up the gist of what you're trying to get at and run it by our building commissioner. That's about all I can think of doing right about now.
And that's fair. And just to make sure I'm crystal clear on, Mr. Bernie, your concern here. First of all, I wanted to thank you for that clarification. I now know exactly what area you're speaking of. Is the concern more so of just runoff coming down that driveway and then going out to the street, I think of just things of like, potential like diversion berms or something like that? Or is it the fact that this, let's say, gravel area or wrap area is just providing more runoff than a standard gravel driveway may have, or ledge for that matter, what was there previously with whatever vegetation may have been occurring on site?
I think it's a runoff issue. It's now become a potential conveyance. It's a situation that wasn't there previously, and it's on a lot that your client doesn't own, or lots that your client doesn't own. So I'm also not looking to assign him to go do work on property that isn't his, because that would be its own issue.
Yep.
I'm just bringing it forward because I think it needs to be resolved at this point.
Understandable. It's not stabilized and it's just making things matters worse there, so I get it.
So, would bring this to the building commissioner as the enforcement officer be satisfactory in this case, or is that just kind of, okay, now what?
I mean, that's the process. That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
There's no, there's nothing else.
Yeah.
I'm going to abstain from the bond. I'm not going to ask the rest of the board to do anything on my behalf. I'm not willing to put my name to it at this point. But, there's 4 of you. You only need 3 of you to agree to it, and that's...
I'm processing. If other people have things to say, please say it. I'm just thinking myself, I'm thinking through everything. How? I think I'm still confused.
So let's say that the building commissioner says, well, now you got to go get permission from the warring brother and sister to do some remediation work on there, and they don't give him permission to do it. Then what?
I guess then we wait for stabilization. I mean, at that point, he's closed out his permit. I mean, the way I see the bond is we're allowing someone to close out their permit prematurely with a backup for ensuring that the work was completed correctly or will be completed correctly. And without the bond, then they're holding the property until stabilization is completed and they can get a sign off, and we're out of it at that point. So the bond, the acceptance of the bond is not required, and it's a way for us to move the process along, but it's also a way for us to ensure that if there's outstanding work or something that is a grander issue, we can use to resolve.
So at what point, if you don't approve the bond tonight, at what point would he be able to get an occupancy permit?
Once he has 75% stabilization on his vegetation, would be my interpretation. So
'Cause
once
then-
all the vegetation has started to sprout and is viably stabilized per you and the building inspector.
And that would be like when? After, over the winter and?
Probably after a growing season. Mm-hmm. I mean, if he's seeded, in theory, we're not really having summer yet. So by October, he should have decent stabilization.
Okay, all right.
For the record, if I may, again, Dan Chin with Haley Ward. The site is very well stabilized. The main purpose of this bond estimate here would be to rectify some things that are currently still outstanding with the as-built rain guarding. It still does require some more volumetrics, as it was stated in the cover letter. I believe it was 83 cubic feet. So it's, again, not much. It's just to ensure that that rain garden does work as originally designed, but it seemed like at this point, it was more important to have that stabilization here before you tonight rather than going into that rain garden, disturbing a lot more just to get a couple more cubic feet out of storage. And for this one, it was really going to be more building up the berm itself along one of the side slopes there to gain that extra storage. And we'd have to go into the deeper dive just to make sure all those numbers still check out themselves. But that was kind of the intent behind it. If you would drive by the site today, it is very well stabilized and it would reach my opinion of the EPA 75% vegetative cover.
Well, then till he resolves the volumetric issue for the rain gardens, if that's what the concern is.
That is Graves' concern, the rain
Yeah,
garden.
then it would be resolving that and ensuring that the stabilization remains above that 75% number.
So what
And
would the
that's
board
my
like-
opinion.
What would the board like to do here?
Actually, rush to close this house, honestly. I have a closing on July. It's already under contract.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind. It maybe it's not as important as I think it is. But you built the access driveway that we're discussing, correct?
It was already there. The day I came to the site and they showed me the lot 1 and lot 2 that I was gonna buy, it was already there. We drove through this. We didn't do anything with it, so it was only access to the property that the home.
It was a dirt driveway.
Yes, this was a dirt driveway over there. So because that was the old building and that driveway belonged to that building. That was the only way we could have seen the property. And
did you ever get permission from the brother and sister to cross onto that driveway to get up to your property?
so the owner who sold it to me, so we had access through them, and then they said no issues for that until we heard something, and then we stopped using it. And
So I'm trying to remember, you were not the original applicant, or were you the original applicant for?
for the storm drain,
Yes.
I was not. I bought it after.
That's, okay, that matches, okay, that's what I was trying to remember, okay.
Just for the record, that applicant was Redbird Construction.
Redwood Construction, yes. I bought it from them. And I have the ownership only for 181 and 189.
I don't know what I'm thinking myself. I hate to hold your feet to the fire where none of this originated with you, but this is our opportunity. I mean, when looking out for the town, this is our one opportunity to make sure things are lined up correctly. Do I understand that correctly? Or am I misspeaking? I mean, I'm happy to be corrected on these things.
My question would be, what can they do on the edge of the property they own to keep stormwater off of that driveway that they don't own?
Just speaking out loud here for everybody, things that just come to my mind. You could put some sort of like straw wattle along the edge just to try to kind of create a diversion berm to kind of keep it on the vegetated area. Unfortunately, the way that site is kind of laid out, it will kind of still go to the vegetated side, kind of towards that utility pole near the end of this property. It's kind of the low-lying spot. But the plus side would be is that you're not getting an influx of runoff down a unstabilized area, and you're kind of keeping it on a stabilized area. My opinion, it would just be an extra precaution that he could do. I wouldn't anticipate that to be any issue. I mean, when that site is very well stabilized, it would have reduced runoff as like a post-construction number. And for that site, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, it's in a good condition. I mean, I'm not trying, again, I'm trying to help out both sides of the table here because I do understand But I do think that would
My concern
be.
is what is the building commissioner going to be able to do here? Go to the Waring brother and sister and say, hey, you need to get a stormwater permit for letting Mr. Massoud use your driveway, and we want to make sure that there's no erosion there.
They need to reclamate the issue, or they.
You need to what?
They need to fix the issue. They need to remove the driveway and return it to the state pre-driveway.
It was a dirt driveway to begin with before the.
Well, I mean, if we go back to 2019, there is a little bit of a dirt driveway. If we look at the 2025, it comes all the way in, goes up the side of 189 and tucks in the back. There's at least 100%, if not more, additional driveway disturbance. So they need to,
Is that all on their land?
it's all on their land.
Okay, then.
So they either need to reclaim that back to
Yep, I see.
an undisturbed area, or they need to get a stormwater permit, or they can be fined.
And we can talk about it as if, well, are they being punished for letting him use the driveway? But they're,
They're the property owner.
yeah, they're the property owners. That's the, and they are the original owners of the other lots.
Correct.
Yeah, so, of course, it was a benefit for them to allow that access because it made the property inherently more developable. So I don't feel a concern with coming down on them and saying, you got what you wanted, but now you have to make things right too. And whatever issues are there between them with agreement, that's between them with agreement. We have the ability to hold their feet to the fire.
So you would like Mr. Massoud to reclaim that portion of the driveway?
Well,
That-
they would need he would need their permission. Because it's on it's not on his land.
How's he going to get permission from a warring brother and sister?
So still the Redbird Construction owns the land, I mean, whatever is.
Then I guess we ask the building inspector to start enforcement against Redbird.
Against who?
Redbird Construction, the owner of the property.
The owner of that parcel that has the,
Yes, the owner of 213
I'm
and
not,
195 is Redbird Construction.
I'm not uncomfortable with that. If, again, it's,
And I understand the concern, and if I may, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this. The work without the stormwater permit himself, I mean, because there is still a stormwater permit held for this whole site, so that would include those additional lots. Now, don't get me wrong, when this was done and all of that stuff, I mean, I'm absolutely in agreement there. It seems like it's happened within the last couple of years, which would have been before the stormwater permit was issued, so I'm not arguing that point. But the board would still have a stormwater permit for the other 3 lots. Is it concerned just that it wouldn't get built out in a timely fashion? Obviously, with them being a warring siblings there, I would reckon nothing's going to really happen. And just trying to stabilize that for the benefit of Lunenburg, is that kind of what I'm gathering?
There's a stormwater permit on all 5 lots?
Correct. It's an overarching for all 5 lots. But again, this came before you, I think, last year, actually, 2025. And that is still open for all 3, which I think has been kind of to your point that you've been getting to, Adam, with a lot of these other projects coming before you, is getting this phasing plan together to make closing these things out a lot easier. I think that's why Massoud's kind of in this weird position here, where we have a stormwater permit for the entire site, because the entire site does trigger that land disturbance.
Do you know what the number on it is?
I don't off the top of my head, but I can find that for you. Bear with me.
What's that?
It's on 213.
213 Electric Ave.
Correct.
So 213 and 195 are owned by Redbird Construction.
Correct.
And those two lots, along with 181 Electric Ave and 189 Electric Ave, are part of a larger stormwater permit that the board granted when?
Back in 2025,
So last year.
correct.
PBSW 24-9.
That, yep.
So that, I was under the impression it was a stormwater permit for these two lots alone.
No, this is coming back to me now.
Yeah. I apologize. I may have been a little misleading there. Apologize, Adam.
So do we know if Redbird Construction has any plans to start work on 195 and 213?
Well, I guess my position changes a little bit, and I'm willing to accept this bond and ask that either you, Steve, or you and the building inspector in combination issue a stop work until proper erosion controls are in place for the remainder of the stormwater permit,
Stop work for,
for the rest of the stormwater permit, for the other three lots.
Yep.
Which I think is kind of, it seems silly and unnecessary since they're fighting over it and no one's gonna do anything that gets anybody any money as they fight over it, but I think having it in place is an important bookmark. And then it puts them on notice that they need to do the stormwater controls, and if they,
so it's not a surprise to them when they come to us
Correct.
asking for
Yeah.
occupancy permits for 195 and 213?
Correct.
Hey, you've got some erosion control you need to take care of on this old dirt driveway.
yes.
I think we can do that.
All right, then
I'm comfy with that. I want to make sure everyone's held accountable to do what they're supposed to do.
I think we can do that for 4 out of 5 of these lots. The brother and sister,
3 out of.
good luck with that.
So I move that we accept a bond in the amount of $4,550 for the work remaining at 189 Electric Ave.
I will second.
All right, moved and seconded. Roll call. Ms. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer?
Aye.
And an aye from myself.
Thank you.
Thank you for going down that winding.
Thank you, everybody.
I
Yes.
think that's a fair resolution.
Yep. No, I'm happy. I didn't want to hold the applicant's feet overly hard to the fire.
Thank you.
We got to make sure things are done correctly.
Right, correct.
All right. I see we also have a decommission bond for
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
485. Thank you. Leominster Shirley Road.
This is a solar battery storage project that you folks approved last year.
Yep.
Town council and the applicant's legal counsel has gone back and forth on the bond language, and you have a copy of the document that they both agreed on.
So Steve's gonna really hate me soon, because I have more questions. So this is our agreement with them to place the bond, correct? It's not the actual bond.
No,
And are they using a bonding company, or are they giving
Yes.
us a big fat check?
they are using an insurance company.
And we get, as the planning board, to approve the method and secure of the bond? Is that correct?
You are approving the language here that gets, that their insurance company executes and provides back to us. So,
Do we know who the company is, I guess is my question.
yes, we do. Silo Lunenburg, BESS LLC.
No, the insurance
Bond, yeah.
company, the bonding company.
I don't know that off the top of my head. It may be in one of the emails that went back and forth, but I don't.
So I guess my question is, by approving this language, which I don't have a problem with, I read through it, it reads just fine, are we giving a de facto approval that they use Joe's bonding company out of Sheboygan, and we don't know, what their rating is, so I guess my concern is
I
more
would
about.
hope that town council, in going back and forth with their bonding company,
So they've been going back and forth with the bonding company?
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes me much more comfortable. I thought they were going back with Silo's individual corporate attorney or whomever.
Well, they've been going through him too.
But
But
it's
there is
been a
this,
party line, not just,
got it.
okay. I move we accept the language of the decommissioning bond as approved by town council.
I will second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call. Ms. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Burney.
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro.
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer.
Aye.
Aye from myself. All sorts of interesting steps on that whole project. I mean, just because that's the project that spurred us to write the bylaw.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to forward the master plan to us. I'll do that before we leave tonight. And then I'm going to move us on to committee reports. Oh, abutting community notices. Anything interesting?
Not unless you want a dimensional variance for having a porch a little too close to the side setback.
Well, in which town?
Well, now, I
Don't care. No, that's fine.
I wouldn't think that there's any, if there was anything, I would have brought it to you.
No, I know. Again, I use that just as much for our opportunity to hear about anything
I wish I had an interesting abutting community project to tell you about.
I think the important things you would bring to us, but sometimes, again, it was the Townsend has approved a Starbucks, which we still haven't seen, so I'll believe it when I see it. But, hey, Starbucks nearby, that's cool, if you like Starbucks. If you hate Starbucks, then, look, we have so many dunks already, you're okay. All right, committee reports. Open Space Committee.
Unfortunately, I missed the most recent meeting.
All right. Municipal Building Design Committee. We have received most of the feedback from town departments, still waiting on answers from a couple in terms of their needs. There was a lot of, some of the same discussions we've been hearing and will continue to hear. Does this need to be, there are people, we have stopped saying it will definitely be this building here at Town Hall and Ritter in use and more open to interpretation. But people still assume those will be the default and the best choices, at least some do. There are those who feel that there are those who feel that we should be doing nothing until Turkey Hill is addressed. There are those who feel that the recent town election was a litmus against any additional spending. There are those who argue that due to the low number of voter participation, a single vote on anything at town meeting or at the ballot is not a broad communication, just because we never get the whole town, we always get a subset. And there's the argument that we have one shot at, we're going to get one shot to build new things for the next 20 plus years. We should make sure we do it right. So there you go.
Can you enlighten me as to Turkey Hill? What's that about?
Turkey Hill School, I'm going to editorialize a little. Turkey Hill School is an old building in sad shape. The issue is to do any major work at Turkey Hill triggers ADA compliance. And it doesn't have to be that major to trigger mandatory ADA compliance. The engineering and construction needed to bring that particular building to ADA compliance is astronomical. Just even for things for turn radiuses of wheelchairs and bathrooms.
Okay.
So it's again, I'm going to editorialize to give a little bit of scope, and others, I encourage people to give differing views if you hold them. Because money's tight, people will always feel that certain things need to take priority. There is a group who feels we should, and I understand it, we should always prioritize schools over anything else because children are our future. There's and that it would be the Turkey Hill first. And I don't think I am doing justice to their arguments. I want to be clear as well for those watching at home. Yes, the arguments are more complex. I'm trying to summarize it very quickly.
Okay, so let's talk about ADA compliance. I've been trying since I got here to find the town's ADA self-evaluation and transition plan,
Good luck with that.
and I found it from 2021. Now, my next order of business is finding out was this ever sent to the state for state approval. So that question still lingers. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that it was, and the state approved it. There is money out there to make ADA improvements to some of our municipal buildings. So if we do have a legit ADA plan, my next order of business would be talking with the town manager and our buildings person as to what's their priority, which building should we seek out grant money for first.
And I think Turkey Hill is not going to be on that list, only because it's a mid-60s school that the town has decided is slated. It's been a specter for about a decade.
So built 32 years before the AD Act.
Yeah, and it's been a specter of we're going to need to do something with Turkey Hill. They did the primary school in 2005. They did the middle high school in 2015. And Turkey Hill is now the old
stepchild.
Yes, and there was a point where the fascia was pulling away from the roof, and there was light intrusion. They have this giant bank of single pane windows across the front of the building, in front of the office. You know, very like brutalist, like look how awesome schools can be kind of thing. And so this municipal building design committee has existed in one form or another for 2 decades plus. And so at about around their bar mitzvah, they had a what they thought was a fairly solid plan to take the Passio school and either renovate it or tear it down. And the cries were, well, in 8 years, we're going to have to do something with Turkey Hill. And now we're a year away from 8 years. And so the looming specter of Turkey Hill is now come and rattling its chains at everybody because nothing was ever done on the other side all those years ago. And Turkey Hill's a hot mess. I mean, there's no air conditioning. Some rooms are hot, some rooms are cold. It's 10 pounds in a 5-pound sack of kids, and it's not going to get any better. The middle high school was built on faulty projections, so it's already at its gills. And so there's a lot of like failures along the way, and not necessarily any individual person's fault. There's a lot of systemic failures in the way MSBA works, in the way that the town grew exponentially over a short period. And so with the failed override and with, schools now being such a hot topic, I think there's a very real contingent that are going to focus all their energy on that singular building project. in a vacuum from any other town needs that may be.
Thank you for the history lesson. I regret asking.
That's usually what people say when they talk to me.
I would also only throw in the MSBA has been an issue even very recently when we talk about the challenges that organization can present to the funds for building a school, where there was some look by the school committee, and again, I'm going to paraphrase only so well, at what can be done about Turkey Hill. And part of it was, well, if you use MSBA funds to improve anything, then the building it used to be the building had to remain a school for like a decade or something.
MSBA.
Massachusetts School Building Authority.
So if you get grant from them to fix a school, that building has to remain a school. And for a while, it was for X number of years, 10 or something. And then it has to become for like either the lifetime of the building or the lifetime of your upgrade. But you realize there are windows at Turkey Hill that are now over 50 years old. So if we're replacing them with MSBA funds, did that mean Turkey Hill would have to be a school for another 50 years? And the thing is, that may or may not have been an appropriate reading. We couldn't get good info from MSBA on that standard. My understanding is it's changed again. I'm sure I'll learn about whatever's happened at the next round of for the next capital planning season. But no, my point being that in some ways, it was good. It was nothing but good to get the feedback from the town employees on what they needed. We still need to do some work refining their requests to understand them better. That is all great. I think while that's progress, the rest of the meeting in some ways felt like a great synopsis of the past 5 years and the past 25 years in this town, all condensed into one meeting for convenience. I'm hoping as a committee we can move forward and still do good work there, but there will be challenges. Capital Planning Committee has not met. Economic Development Committee has not met. Stormwater Task Force.
We are meeting on Wednesday.
Excellent. Montechusett Regional Planning Commission.
We met a couple weeks ago. I didn't have any notes particular to Lunenburg, and we don't have a meeting next month. It will be in August.
Okay. Montechusett Joint Transportation Committee.
I was unable to make that meeting. Our next one will be next month.
Fair enough. We did decide at the last meeting too.
I saw.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I saw the email. It's me.
That's what you get for not showing up.
I know, sorry.
You're also still clerk, haha.
It's all right. I'll take it. I have like 10 months left, guys.
What? Oh, I guess that makes...
Till I'm done with planning board.
Well, no, you mean till you are up for re-election.
Sorry, till I'm up for re-election. Oh, man.
You in fact can and will be running again because you got in by write-in last time and we can make it happen.
Did. 2 whole votes.
I think we can get you at least 5 this time.
Oh, boy.
Doesn't matter how many.
It's exactly
Doesn't matter how-
one more than the last person.
All right. And we do, the minutes approval listed, but they're not ready yet, correct? Okay, great. Meeting schedule. Friends, we meet twice a month on the second and fourth Monday. Now, upcoming meetings for our standard meetings, our upcoming meetings do include July 13th, July 27th, August 10th, and August 24th here at the Bellata Meeting Room for our standard business. It also is worth noting that we did at this meeting agree that we are going to have a working session. And again, that's publicly viewable. You're welcome to come sit in the room with us and watch the sausage get made.
Are we doing that here, or are we going to do that at your office?
I would say if we want it filmed, we should do it here, sit down at that table.
Yeah.
What's that?
Ritter has the owl.
Mm-hmm.
What's the owl?
That's the
It's the little recording
R2D2
device.
that sits in the middle of the table and follows
Yeah.
everyone.
downstairs conference room.
Yeah.
The downstairs, yeah.
Well, there's really not any room for other audience members to sit.
You've made it sound so attractive, I bet we have a lot.
You never know.
I think, let us plan on having the meeting here.
That's fine. I
And-
really just wanted to ask.
Yeah, and, but there's always a chance we are not the only group that meets on Mondays. And so if we're going to overlap, then we can reserve other space.
Okay.
Okay. And you two are wonderful because I immediately started back into the old mode of, okay, I'm going to have to check with the town clerk. And then I realized
You have staff.
you all are amazing. Comment from the board.
None from me.
Hearing none, I would seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call. Ms. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Bernie.
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro.
Aye.
Mr. Tim.
Aye.
And an aye from myself. Friends, thank you for joining us. It is 8:10 because people say the time out loud when meetings end for some reason. I hope you have a great few weeks. We'll see you in July. Have a